where iron sharpens iron, so should men sharpen men. I am your host, Bryant Gadine, and I'm joined by my brothers Keith, Danny, and Steve. We're your waiters, serving you accountability and truth. We now bring you to our program, already in progress. All right. Welcome to the Iron Table, where iron sharpens iron, so should men sharpen men. I am your host, Bryant, and I'm joined at the table by my brothers, Keith, Danny, and Steve. Today we are, it's, what is it? April 14th, one day before tax day. So hopefully everyone, by the time they heard this, have submitted their taxes. If not, hopefully you asked for an extension. But today, I wanted to bring to the table. Recently, we lost a brother. uh, lost someone that probably was influential. We all remember what happened. O.J. Simpson. He passed away. I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. Cancer. Um, but he will live in infamy. Is back in, I think it was '94, that he was
Guilty. I'm sorry.
hey, I mean, we all know, but he was in the slowest chase in America. It preempted. I think we was watching basketball. It was playoffs.
NBA, I think it was
And
the
yeah,
finals.
yeah, and they stopped it. Well, I mean, it was still going, but TV channels had went and was chasing this white Bronco, and there were people on the streets cheering him on because he was allegedly charged with murdering his then ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and um, and what was it Goodman?
Yeah.
Ron Goldman.
Ron Goldman, thank you. And so we fast forward the trial of the century. I mean, everyone was watching it, and you had name brand people like the Kardashians, their father. I think that's when he really we really found out about that family. And then, of course, Johnny Cochran, who had the famous line, "If it doesn't fit, you must have quit." And somehow, when they read the verdict of not guilty, I think I was at Pine Forge.
Yeah,
When I
we
heard it.
stopped
Yeah,
school. They
they
entered.
stopped
We were
school.
in
It
the
was
fellowship hall watching on the little TV.
yeah,
We got
um,
out of school to watch it on the fellowship
Wow.
satellite TV. Yeah.
and
I'm
it
trying to
was
think
it was interesting.
middle school or elementary when that happened. I think middle school. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Now you dated us. We all could have been in the same
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
I'm
same time.
yeah trying to think of what it was. I distinctively remember the classroom cheering and the teacher putting her head down.
Yes, and that's
And I
exactly.
guess yeah, she put her head down, and us as kids were cheering.
What
So
was
so
the
yeah,
makeup of the school?
Black,
Okay.
and the teacher.
white.
Okay, so yeah, so that happened. It wasn't all across the U.S. I mean, everyone was cheering. Every black or brown or individual that was a minority was cheering for one time only. We saw how the system that, which I would say 9 times out of 10 has been disparaging, the
Nine
disparagingly
point nine
negative
nine 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 nine.
against us. It finally worked in our favor. Now,
Would you
did
say
we
it worked
lose?
though? Would you say it like
I
Right.
mean,
Steve made a face when I
no, I'm saying it worked for the first time, at least to my recollection, where you have an individual who maybe the masses was like, nah, there ain't no way he getting off. No way he's getting off. Um, he we hear not guilty. And we're like, whoa. And I mean, yeah, we were excited. We were cheering. I think I went to what was it? What's that mall close to Pine Forge? It wasn't
Coventry.
Wayne, Coventry. I remember going to Coventry and I was walking behind, two ladies, and I was like, man, where did they let him off? Because he did it. He did it. He has a history of.
He didn't do it. He just wrote a book that said, "If I did it."
If I did it.
And I mean, come on now. You get off and then you write a book kind of poking the bear saying, hey, if I did it, this is how I would do it. And it seemed eerily close to how it was done. But was it OJ's, things? I mean, LAPD lost it. The whole prosecutors, they fumbled the ball. But were we upset? No. Now, I believe personally, I said this back in the day, that OJ needed to thank Rodney King.
Absolutely.
Because if those 4 police officers didn't get off, there was no way. We were owed one
It was like what they call a flagrant foul.
Yeah, we were owed one get back. And honestly, and I was telling my wife this, I said, I wish we would have saved it. I wish we would have saved it for Bill. Well, I wish we would, because if you think about the body of his work, you got the Cosby Show, I know you're making a face. You got the Cosby Show, you got A Different World. These were influential. I mean, it helped me decide to go to a HBCU.
Bill is out.
I know he's out,
Sure
but
is.
I'm one of those where, he was still found guilty on something, and that just tarnished his legacy.
Yeah.
I guess. But
would you
okay, first of all, let me go back. You start off calling this man a brother. I'm going to be the antagonist in the room. OJ didn't necessarily think he was that.
Didn't he say, I'm not black, I'm OJ?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
That's a direct quote of OJ.
I let that one slide too, Brian.
No, I understand he said that, but still, when you look at him, do you not say brother? Is he not a brother? No, I'm not condoning. Let the Iron Table say that we don't condone what happened. We don't do any of those things where we condone violence. None of that. It was a tragic situation. Lives were lost, and we sympathize. We understand. It was again, it was a critical time in our lives growing up where we saw a black man who had every right to be found guilty. He had a history of physical violence. There had been some I guess police reports. Just think of who it is, and had everything to lose, and somehow still did not serve jail time for that. Now, what he shouldn't have done afterwards was, go with some people who had guns to try to get his stuff back. And you got out once. Don't think that that's going to happen again.
I go sit his black behind down, and he ended up in more trouble. So, listen, I'm frustrated. I was always frustrated with them because, again, we know. We all do. We know. But do I think we should have saved it? I think it needed to happen when it happened. And I think that the truth coming out now, like they're asking jurors verbatim, did you guys plan this? And they're like, yep, we did. Like, I think it sucks when anybody hears that the justice system has been tampered with. But for our experience on this planet, in this life, that's how we see it every day. We see people. I've seen people incarcerated who did not do it, and they know they didn't do it. It's just, we need a body, and and you're here, so you got to go. So I think we need more than just one get out of jail free card. I think a lot of people are old.
So was this a win for black people, or was this a win for rich people?
Back in the 90s, I would say
was it a win
for black people. We were happy. did we not feel better about ourselves? Like,
Yeah,
wait a
I
minute.
think it's important to dissect that, though. I think it's important to dissect why we were happy. We weren't necessarily happy that, okay, somebody who, like, public sentiment is like, it's definitely sketchy at best. It was that we who had experienced the system being rigged against us for so long finally got us a chance to see, oh wow, like what we've watched them do all these hundreds of years. We got one. It was like taking a ball from half court and just throwing it up and just throwing it up and throwing it, and then one goes in, and we're like, yes, it's exciting. But in actuality, it was not. I mean, like you said, justice was the
Can't say it
justice
was
system
third,
was
right?
definitely a challenge in wherever you have people that are running it and managing it. And in our country, the racial disparity, you can't ignore it. You just can't. And so it was hard not to be glad just that one of our guys avoided jail finally.
But you got
In a
also
system
remember,
that has been rigged against us for so long. What'd you say, Keith?
I was saying you got to also remember. Have you guys really watched the Rodney King beating?
Beating.
I mean, that was before cell phone. This was
before cell phone. One man with a camera watching 4 officers go to town.
Whipped his tail.
Whipped his tail.
All 4 of them got off.
All 4 of them
innocent.
All 4.
It's
in the same geographical area. That was Southern California.
Yes, it's in the same area. So naturally, yes, they're pissed. They're angry. So they said, okay, well.
So they burned down their own neighborhoods.
That part.
So that was another thing. But like, if they have voted guilty, if they had said guilty, did they know that California, that part of California, would have been on fire?
Yeah, and it's still been an episode of different world. It was still been an episode on a different world.
True.
Yeah. So that's why
But there's an underlying. Of course, yes, what they did was heinous, but there's always just been this underlying thing when it comes to Black and white people that a lot of people tiptoe around. It's always just been, I'm not even going to say a competition, but it's always been a us versus them. Wherever it is, whether it been that court hearing, whether it be a basketball game, whatever it is, it's always, hey, us versus them versus whatever it may be. And guess what? Oh, yeah, we got one. Whether it be in this court hearing, or whether it be on the football field, whether it be on the basketball team, whether it be in academics, whether it be in whatever. It's always something underlining about us versus them, whether it be on our part or whether it be on their part. It's always that underlining tension of we're not on the same team as a human race. It's always us versus them. Regardless of.
I would say that's by demonic design.
Yep.
And in actuality, the notion of Black, like, we got 3 different shades right here, and like, what is Black? And then the notion of white and Black are social constructs.
Yeah.
That when you look at science, we're all one and the same pretty much, and it doesn't really matter what the externals look like, but the social construct, almost like the what's the Rwandan, the Hutsis, the
Hutsi, and it but the
Tutsis. Tootsie Roll.
We'll just say that. No, don't say Tootsie Roll. We're not going. The Hutus and the Tootsies and the Hutus, I believe.
There we go.
Yeah, we're not. Why would you do that?
But like you just said, social construct, and I'll take it even a step. You know what? I'll take it a step further. Think about people that are born blind. It's so weird to try to have them even think about color. They can't even conceive it. Like, they don't even understand. Like, what do you mean the sea is blue? Huh? What is blue? Like, it's weird that when you are able to see, you kind of limit yourself with some of these things that you think are different. But for those who are blind, that were born blind, they don't even understand the concept of color, so it's silly to them, you know.
My question. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you good. I was about to go
I
off
was
for
just
something.
saying, like, so how does Stevie Wonder know who's like? What if somebody Stevie Wonder, he's like they're really white, he thinks they black? Like, I don't know.
Now, if you touch somebody's face, you can feel, you know. But again, the whole concept of the word black, it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't really. It's no way. Even then, you're talking about shades. It doesn't even. Again, it's very silly how we forget how the same we are, even though we are different. But we keep the things that are limiting to us to put us down. We keep focusing on that instead of just thinking about, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, two people lost their lives because of emotions were running high, because somebody wasn't able to manage their emotions. And again, that's where it falls back on. Somebody was not able to manage their emotions and let anger get the best of them. And guess what? Now I'm willing to kill because I might even think. Let's just, he wrote in his book, right?
He was not found guilty for killing.
Yeah. Let's just say if he did. Let's go on to another parallel, since we're into comic books. Let's go to another parallel universe to where he says that he did it, right? Think about that. I am very successful, Hollywood star, football star, got millions of dollars. I am so mad that this one person is having sex with somebody else that I am willing to forsake everything that I've worked hard for and go ahead and kill this person, not thinking like I can have any woman in the world. I'm OJ. I'm OJ. But again, when we mismanage our emotions and we let anger get and I always tell couples, hey, you continue to let your anger get the best of you, it's only going to wind up two ways. You're either going to be dead or in jail. Now, circling back to OJ, I mean, it is what it is. Hey, if he did it, if he didn't do it, hey, he got off regardless, right? But at the end of the day, I wonder what that conversation is like at those pearly gates. I wonder what that conversation is like.
So I'm glad that you kind of made that transition, because this was a question that I had for us. Given what, No, I put it up there. I said, is there any scenario where it's okay for a man to hit a woman?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, I need to take this down because we need to see the full screen version of you. All right? You said yes. What is that scenario?
He didn't even pause. He let you know.
What is the scenario?
I'll say this: if there is any person who is on the verge of inflicting major harm on other human beings,
you got every right to get
major harm, like they need to be stopped, Malcolm X style, by any means necessary. And I would circle my comments back to say that when at all possible, I do believe that men, because we are stronger physically, that we need to steward that strength well. And just because, I'll say as a principal, because a kid talks in class doesn't mean you're going to get expelled from school. So I'm not condoning at all, like somebody called you outside their name and you clock her over the head. But like, say for instance, if somebody walked into a place with a weapon and they were getting ready to use that weapon to inflict harm, like whatever you got to do. And so,
but see, here's the thing though, with that, why is it that we think about, is there any instance where a man should ever hit a woman? But if a woman hits a police officer, guess what's going to happen? No discrimination whatsoever. She's going to get her block knocked off, regardless. And we're not talking about, he shouldn't have did that. He should. The law is, if you strike a police officer, any other force that comes after that is on you. So at that point in time, and I guess this is kind of dear to my heart. I went to a club with my girl's sisters, had a birthday party or whatnot, and of course I see a woman striking another woman, just going to trying to hit at her just because of some nonsense stuff. People are so, whether it's a man or a woman, they're so quick to put their hands on somebody, not think about the consequences of your actions. If you put your hands on somebody, what is it? The law of the universe. Every action has an opposite react. Point blank.
Equal and opposite.
The universe don't care about, oh, if this person was, well, you're a man or you're a woman. No, the opposite reactions. Well, you know how it go. So I don't understand why is it that we feel like, hey, certain people should get a pass with certain things. Now, if a woman slap you and you just haul off and, close fisted, that's okay. Okay, now we're talking about the severity.
So open slap is okay.
No, he said.
So Steve, are you saying like a pimp slap might be more appropriate? Like clarify. I'm curious.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying you put yourself as the person that is putting your hands, anybody, man or woman, you put yourself in a position to now not be in control of your environment and those around you by striking an individual. By striking an individual, you put yourself in a predicament to where, hey, I could do whatever I want to do. Because at the end of the day, hey, whatever, if I'm a man and I hit another woman, guess what? I'll do it and I'll just suffer the consequences, whatever it may be. Right. But as a woman, you put yourself in a situation, and as a man, you put yourself in a situation that, hey, if you strike this woman, she's going to hit you back, or some other people are going to hit you back. Or even in this situation, what was that? Friday, this girl was hitting this other girl. Guess what? Everybody jumped up, not just women, men too, because they weren't playing that. You're not going to do that to our family member, right? So again, you put yourself in a situation, if you put your hands on anybody, and the sad thing about it is a lot of people right now, they're not hitting back. They shooting back. So again, you put yourself in a situation that now you have no control over. And again, where does this all stem from? Not being able to handle and manage your emotions.
So as a man, if you get hit by a woman, are you saying that it's okay to return that same level, or as a man, are we supposed to utilize reason?
No, we're not supposed to
walk away.
We need to allow them to know that I have daughters and a son, and I let my daughters know, if you hit anybody, I don't care who it is, expect to be hit back. I don't care who it is. I don't care how hard you hit them. If you put your hands on somebody, expect, whether they do it or not, expect them to hit you back, because you've opened that door. You don't know what the next person is doing or thinking in their mind. You don't know what they're going to do. So if you decide that you're going to put your hands on somebody, expect them to come back and pop you as hard as they can, even they do it to each other. I was like, my daughter hit my son. He didn't hit her as hard as he could have, but he hit her back in a way that let her know, I'm not playing. Stop. Mm-hmm. And she did. And I'm like, don't hit your sister. He's like, but I told her to stop. And he did.
But you told her not to hit his sister. Why?
Because I know that it will become easy. For some people, it does. Once you open the door, it becomes easier. That's how a lot of people could just backhand and beat the snot out of women, and they don't blink twice, because they do it often. But for those who don't do it often, you don't want to start down that path, because it becomes it is our super strength. We can physically manipulate this situation, and sometimes that's not what we need. Sometimes, like you said, de-escalation is the key. But I do feel that if it's like Danny said, if it's a situation where it's volatile and somebody's going to get seriously hurt, then you got to make some split decisions. Sometimes have to be made, and sometimes you got to make people go night night.
Now, what if you're walking away? You use the de-escalation tool. You're walking away. You're putting distance. But like a boxer, if they tell the smaller boxers, you need to get inside that reach,
and they do.
What if they get inside your reach?
They will get in your face, and they will try to tell you. And I don't condone.
And some of them will do it on purpose.
Yes,
and prevent you from leaving the room. Mm-hmm.
Strike first, and strike first, and strike often. And again, you're expected to restrain and say, "Oh, baby, don't do that." But no,
well, there you go, restraint.
No, as Steve said, what happens if you hit a police officer? What happens if you hit a grown man in the street? What happens if you punch Mike Tyson in the face?
There's consequences.
There's a reason why there's consequences. Whenever you get ready to hit a man, you should think there's probably going to be some type of consequence. he loves me, well, he's probably going to knock my block off, even if he doesn't. Because a lot of women do it because they know or they assume he's not going to do anything.
There you go.
Because
that same woman.
I'll say this. Go ahead, Steve.
That same woman wouldn't go slap a lion.
Exactly. One of my friends told me this. He said that if she thought you were actually going to hit her back.
Oh my God. Yes. That part. I know what you're about to say. That part. And he ain't said it, but that part.
If she thought that you were going to, she would never have put her hands on you.
And that's what gives good men a bad rap. Because if there you go.
They know. So I'm gonna ask y'all. Like, and no show of hands. That any of y'all been hit by a woman before?
Yeah, I mean, what was that? Kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
So I have.
Last relationship? Yeah, what you mean third grade? No, let's be real.
let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100 because it's the iron table, ain't? If this is the iron table, it's the iron table.
Different reasons. Sometimes it's believed that he won't respond back, or he's not going to do anything, or sometimes they like bring it. You ain't go. But then if we really brought it, that's what they quickly figure out.
He hit me.
Yes, and they shocked and they surprised.
And I almost met Jesus.
Not him.
Not him. He would never. No.
So then, I guess the real question is, what do good guys who do not resort to immediate equal energy do in order to?
I'm not allowed to.
Chapter 3 in my book. Leave. That's what you do. You leave because when you leave, like, okay, let's just say a situation where you have a volatile relationship where if your woman feels as if it's okay for her to put her hands on you, she is now then she's trying to bring out the worst in you at that point.
Absolutely, on purpose.
So you need to leave because she has the potential to now be your Delilah, and she's going to ruin your life because
she will be your Delilah.
There you go. And
she's simply trying to get you to react. Because once she gets you to react, she's won.
You're done.
You're going to jail.
Yes, you're going.
Yeah. You will be
you're going to be dead.
Okay, but with all that considered, what if you know that she has been through some traumatic experiences?
That's a
that
piece of. I'm sorry.
That's a what? Okay, never mind. I don't even want you to repeat that.
But that's a good point, and it's also understanding, knowing what you're getting into and what you're. What is that one? What does it say? The girlfriend matrix? What that dude said? Thinking about how much crazy you're willing to put up with, because if you got to know yourself at this point. It's like, okay, you know what? I know me. If a woman put their hands on me, I'm not going to be able to hold back. I'm going to haul off and I'm going to hurt her. So therefore, any signs of red flags that's going to happen if she gets up in my face and I'm saying this because I wish I would have told myself this years ago to save myself headache, but understanding I would have left because I know all of this is going. Me not doing anything is not going to. Me not putting my hands on her is a double-edged sword. Not only yes, I don't hurt her, but then I hurt the dynamics of this relationship because now she thinks it's okay to do these things and there's no consequences, and I can just put all of my emotions out on him physically, and he's not going to do anything. But then if I do, amen? Now, if I do something, guess what? I'm going to jail. Therefore, as men, as good men, what we need to do is be more emotionally aware of ourselves to know when it's okay to leave a volatile situation. You have.
But what if they say, "Oh, so you just going to leave me?" And isn't that the trigger for men to say, "You know what?
There's no talking." Wait, listen to what he said. There's no talking at this point because this is about you and God at this point. You trying to keep your freedom in your life, and you trying to spare hers too. So you need to go.
Yes, and you know how we get out of pocket with it too is because when that happens, and then like every relation that has its loops as far as stuff, but. This happens, this big argument happens, the fight happens, X, Y, Z things, then calm down a little bit. Guess what? We have sex. And sex is like almost a master reset to make us think that everything is okay. Hey, look, I had as a man, when we get sex from a woman, guess what? Okay, cool. I'm relaxed. I got this aggression out. When she has sex with her, okay, guess what? We cool. Everything is okay. I was able to calm him down. No consequence, right? So sex kind of also clouds the mind of being able to understand this ain't cool. We need to sever this, because if you feel that, and this goes for women too, if anybody feels that the other person is okay with putting their hand on you, that's not love. Not at all. And I don't care what type of trauma that you done had, this, that, and the third. Okay, well, when you get done dealing with that trauma, come see about me. If I'm still available. Because somebody's gonna hurt, somebody's gonna get hurt.
And the best apology is change behavior. It's not I'm so sorry. Because we get into this, and then it's men and women, oh baby, I'm so sorry. I don't no. You need to go and get help, because the next time that what happens, like, I mean, there has to be a very, very clear, definitive, hardline stance, because once you cross that boundary, you just open up the floodgate, Pandora's box. And Keith, I think your perspective is so unique, and this is why I respect this scenario so much, because you worked with men in prison for like a decade. Like you've seen this play out over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you know that, like, not every one of those guys behind bars is a bad dude. A lot of times they were trying to leave, Steve. They was trying to get out.
They was one decision away.
A broken leg from jumping off the balcony, trying to get away. They brought him back. They brought him back with his broken leg, and I said, "What you doing back?" And he's like, "Listen." And then he broke down the whole story. And I was trying to get out. She blocked the front door. I went to another one, and she blocked that one. So she didn't think I would jump off the balcony. So I ran out there. 2 stories.
I think it brings up another valid point, though. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to shut up, because, Steve, you were talking about leave, and I think there's 2 meanings of leave. One is physically. But I don't think we have enough conversations. I got people in my family who were in situations like that, where the woman had crossed that boundary. And it's just like, okay, you still there? All right. If you're working towards a different resolution, actively working towards it, okay, respect. All right. But I think that it goes without saying that if there's not active work that's being done, that it might be safer for you to not just physically leave in that moment, but to have a break in that relationship, at least a separation, so that there's going to be a very serious. It's not sustainable, because it's like when I'm going to use this example, and I'm going to shut up. It's like back in the day before we was going all the way. We was messing around, heavy petting, whatever you want to call it. But once you open up Pandora's box, that bad boy open now, and ain't no going back. You're not putting toothpaste back in the tube. And so when it comes to the volatile nature, like once that's open, it very rarely corrects itself. And I think that sometimes it is appropriate, even if it's a temporary departure, to actually leave, so that the other person can know that this is actually serious, and we can't do this, because it's not going to end well.
But let me ask you this. Okay, so even in that scenario, as Christian men who have been raised in the church, or with at least with heavenly minded morality, I say you don't leave. You try to work it out. Where is that point that it's, because to everyone else, they're going to say, hey man, did you pray about it? Did you, you got to give it some time.
As I was leaping out the door, I prayed. When I got to my
I prayed to God to break my leg on the way down.
On the way down, I prayed to God, like, as Christopher, listen. Man. How many men get caught up in, because I'm thinking about the situation in total. Because again, if you've ever gotten a call from an auntie, a sister, a cousin, an auntie, a sister, or a niece, this guy just put his hands on me.
Right.
You brought there ready to kill this man to find out she started it and she was the whole best creator.
Keith.
So listen to
why
me.
did you bring me into this?
Oh my God, Keith, right there.
Right there. So my issue is this is bigger. This is bigger than just leaving, because if you don't leave, there's a whole mess that's waiting for you if you don't.
Yes.
This is a great discussion though, because we don't talk about this. Like I don't think we just don't talk about it, but a lot of guys deal with it and they don't know what to do. And you naturally, especially if you're in a committed relationship, you're not going to flush it down the toilet right away, but you must take action. And like what I like to reference is, did God love Adam and Eve? Absolutely, he loved them, but there was this thing called a boundary, where after they crossed the line, after they did what they should not have done, it's like, I love you, to the point where it's going to cost me everything, it cost my life. But that old way, no, we're not doing that no more. This is the first mention of a sword in the Bible, where God is like boundary, like y'all can't come back no more.
Yeah, y'all don't live it.
Even with the prodigal son was like, you know what, and the dad ultimately was just like, bet, deuces. Like we can't fight for people who are not willing to change. We can't. We have to respect their personal agency. And what I would do as a principal is I literally would sit down with people as they're getting expelled. Like, I thank you for letting me know that you would like to go to another school. I'm going to respect that decision and give you this certificate so that you can go, because we don't do that here. We have to have boundaries, or we have chaos, we have disorder, we have disarray. What'd you say, Steve?
Freeing up their future.
Yeah, we have to. And when it comes to relationships, I know ain't nobody been in a relationship where things ain't get tense, but you got to have boundaries. And when the boundary is crossed, you have to erect, with the help of good therapists like yourselves and good knowledgeable friends, we have to be able to prevent those situations from becoming our normal. Because when they become normal, they always escalate, and it just doesn't end well.
And with that though, here's the thing. For those who have been in volatile situations, we can always look back and see before that volatile situation, there was always red flags that we ignored. So it didn't have to get this bad. We could have turned tail when we saw like, oh. And see, here, the thing about it is thinking about your relationship that you're in now and the person that you're with. I can just say, hey, with my girl, I know just how her personality is. She's not about to put her hands on me at all. So guess what? I'm making sure that I regulate my emotions, because I don't want her to feel a certain way about me. And I love her that much. Thinking about past situations, it's like, oh, okay, I could see that you can almost switch. You can turn that off, like almost a pit bull. And it's once a pit bull turns, it's once it locks onto you, there is no turning back for that. So at a certain point in time, we have to start looking at these red flags early, because a lot of times, because we get caught up in our feelings and I like this person and the sex and all this stuff, we ignore red flags, and red flags come back to bite us in the butt. And then we wonder, like, how did we get here? Yeah, how we get here? What you mean? How the signs was right there.
We got here by tolerating foolishness, and then all of a sudden they blew up in our face. And then we got to have the tough conversations that we should have had a long time ago. And that's why it's good for us to have these conversations. So, Brian, I appreciate you for bringing it. Maybe we're being too real, but I don't think
no, this needs to happen.
We just gotta make this a part 2. It's going to have to be part 1, because it's late, and I gotta help put the little guy down for the night. He's got school in the morning. I gotta be at work at 6 in the morning. So, closing thoughts. I'll let y'all close it so I can get the cue up the outro. But
keep
again,
your hands to yourself.
Wait a minute. I do have to say that we don't own the rights to any music. Anything we use during this segment, we're just honoring the craft of musicians, and only use it to honor honor what they do. Pretty soon we'll be doing our own stuff, so we won't have to honor nobody. But we'll work on that. But yeah, closing thoughts. I'll let y'all go around. Just chime in. Whoever the first person is, the last person will probably be Keith.
I just said keep your hands to yourself. That was it. I'm done. Go ahead, Steve.
I would say do unto others as you would want done to you. If you do something to somebody else, man or woman, don't be surprised if it's done back to you.
Deacon Jones.
There's a time for everything under the sun. Sometimes they like to be hit.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, he just all right.
All right.
Right there. Y'all hit some chords today, man. Come on now. Y'all not fair to me. This is y'all can't. Y'all done talk to somebody. Yeah, that's what I think. Y'all done talk to somebody. Y'all done hit some chords.
Log off.
There's a time to listen. There's a time for everything under the sun. But keep, like you said. But otherwise, keep your hands to yourself and love each other. Stop beating each other up is not love. It's not. It's chaos. It's toxic. That's all I got. OJ was not black. That's according to OJ.
You just broke some brains on that one. You said sometimes they like to be beat. You just broke some brains.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you.
All right, fellas, man, it's been real. Well, it's closing time. We are glad you stayed with us this long. The bill? Oh, we tore that up. For truth and accountability are free. You want to leave a tip? Sure, we take your money, but what's even better is if you share this with someone you know. But there's always room for more at the Iron Table.